Does Google Tag Manager scare you? Do you feel overwhelmed, frustrated, or maybe a little confused by it? Would you like to gain a little more control over what's happening in your account and not rely on others so much for performing simple tasks? Welcome to the channel. My name is Leon. This channel exists to help you make better decisions in your daily work using your analytics data. If you like what I'm doing, please click the like and subscribe button. That really helps me get this channel off the ground. This video is for all the people who are perhaps a little scared of Google Tag Manager. In just a couple of minutes, we're going through just one simple task: installing Google Analytics via Google Tag Manager. And as we do that, I will explain some of the core concepts behind Google Tag Manager. And doing so, I believe we will remove some barriers that some of you may feel when it comes to Google Tag Manager. Of course, I'm fully aware that in just 10 or 15 minutes, we will not solve every problem you have in Google Tag Manager, but this will be a first step. If you would be interested in an affordable, short online mini course on this topic, please let me know in the comments below. Alright, let's dive in. So I logged into Google Tag Manager and removed everything there is. So I kind of sacrificed a day of data in my Google Tag Manager account just for you guys. But that will really help make things a little bit more manageable. This is really an empty account. There are no tags in it right now. We're gonna create our first tag today. Also, I'm gonna make it an assumption, and that is that you already have Google Tag Manager installed on your site. Usually the designer or developer that is responsible for your site can handle that task for you. The goal of this video is not to be complete. The goal of the video is to help you make your first step in Google Tag Manager. Alright, when you log into Google Tag Manager, you need to find your site, and when you click on your site, you will probably see a screen just like this. And the screen where we're gonna work today is this one. It's called Tags. And as I told you, it doesn't contain any tags right now. If you look into your site, you probably find some tags already. Let's just go ahead and create our first tag. So we do that by clicking this button here, New. And then what happens is there's a screen that pops up that has three fields: a name, a tag configuration, and triggering. And this may sound complicated already, but it's really simple. Let's start with these two. The tag configuration, the question that you ask right here is, what do I want to track on my site? What program do I want to install? And if you click that, you'll find a list of all kinds of programs. For instance, Google Analytics, that's what we're gonna use today. But you'll find all kinds of programs, and up here there's a community template gallery where other people have created templates for Google Tag Manager. And this represents all the programs that you can install on your site. And right now what we want to do, we want to install Google Analytics 4 on our site. So there are two tags here. There's a configuration tag and there's an event tag. Right now what we'll need is the configuration tag. That's the base tag that you'll need to install Google Analytics on your site. So we're gonna pick that. And that's really the first question. What do you want to track? What kind of program do you want to install? We're gonna track page visits. We're gonna track the users on our site by installing Google Analytics 4. The only thing that you really need when installing these kinds of programs is some kind of ID, because this will track users, this will collect data on your site. And right here we need to configure like what address do we need to send that data to. So to find the measurement ID of your site, we need to go into Google Analytics and find our site, and then we go into admin. And under admin, there's a section called data streams. Well, usually you have one data stream, that's the stream of your site. If you click on that, you will find the measurement ID right here. You can copy it by clicking on this little icon. And then we go back into Google Tag Manager and paste the measurement ID on our tag configuration. And right now this step is done. Again, under tag configuration, the first part of this screen, we ask ourselves the question, what do we want to track? What kind of program do we want to install? Well, we're installing Google Analytics. We're tracking the users on our site. So we selected the Google Analytics 4 configuration tag and we filled in the measurement ID of our Google Analytics 4 account. So the first step is really done. The second part of this screen is the trigger. And the question here again was, what do we want to track? What program do we want to install? When installing a trigger, the question really is, when do we want to do this? When do we want to track this data? When do we want to impart this tag onto our site. So the way I think about triggers is when people visit your site, you could visualize that by seeing a timeline on your site. So people come into your site and then the page is loading a little bit and then they start using that page. So they click on certain buttons, they click on certain links on your site. So they go into the next page, but perhaps they are scrolling through your pages, they are spending time there, things come up, and during that timeline, during that visit, you can impart tags to your page on very specific moments. So you could pick, for instance, a click on a button, or you could click when people enter a certain page. So the main question when picking a trigger is, when do I want to place this tag? Well, with Google Analytics, it's actually very simple. We want to place that tag on every page of the site right when people open up the page. So we do not want to wait until the entire page is loaded. We want to put that tag as soon as people open up that page. And the way we do that is open up our triggers. And by default, there are a couple of triggers that are already set up. So there's a consent initialization. This is the trigger that you use to set up all kinds of consent. So if you need marketing consent, ad consent, analytics consent, you can configure that first. This is the first trigger that's activated. We're not going to use it. We're going to use the initialization all pages trigger. This is the trigger that's fired right after the consent initialization. So we're going to use this. So as soon as people land on our page, Google Analytics will be loaded. There you go. We're almost done. The only thing we need to do is give this tag a good name. And the way I like to do it is I start with 00. Because it's a configuration tag, we're just installing our program here. I'm just going to name it the first configuration tag and I'm going to say GA4 config because I'm tracking this domain. So just a little recap, placing a tag is actually really simple. The first thing we need to think about is what do we want to track? What program do we need to install? That's the top part, the tag configuration. And as I told you, we're currently installing Google Analytics 4 and we've set up our measurement ID. The second question we need to ask ourselves, when do I want to track this? Do I want to track it on a specific page, on a click, maybe on scroll? With this, it's really very simple. We just want this on every page of our site, right when people open it up. And the way we do that is by using initialization all pages. And thirdly, we need to give it a good name. This is my naming convention. You don't need to follow it as long as you're clear about what you're tracking. So right now, the tag that we made is not live on our site. It's not published yet. And there are two steps we need to take before it starts working. The first step that I recommend you do is test if your tag is working. And you can do that by hitting the preview button. There's one little thing that you need. You'll need the Google Tag Assistant. I recommend that you find and install this in your Google Chrome browser before proceeding with this tutorial. If you have this little extension, you can hit the preview mode and then a new tab will fire up, and in that tab you'll find a field for your website URL. And if it's the first time that you do it, you can just fill in your website URL, including the HTTPS and www part, so don't forget that, and then you can click connect. So right now we started with Google Tag Manager, we pressed preview, so that opened up this Tag Assistant window that's now showing all kinds of things about our setup, and we fired up this version of our site, which is really like a test session. It's a debug session, and everything that we do here will show up in our Tag Assistant. And this test session is a special session that performs as if this already is published. It kind of simulates the situation that you would have if you would publish this change to your site. And this lets us just check if everything that we did actually works. What we want to do is just check, did my tag fire? Here we're looking at a summary that has two headings, tags fired and tags not fired. And my situation is very simple. I don't have any other tags. So it's really clear that the tag that I just set up has fired. But the bigger your Google Tag Manager account becomes, the harder it gets to see if things actually work. And this is a good way to check. So because under tags fired, the tag shows up, that tells me that the tag that I just installed actually works. So now I can go back into Google Tag Manager and I can actually submit my change to my site. And this means that the change that I made here will be pushed live to our site, and everyone else that visits the site will be tracked by this tag. So let's go ahead and click submit. I'm going to add a name here, install Google Analytics 4. Publish. There you go. So now I've installed my first tag, the GA4 config tag. It fires on every page on my site. And if I open up Google Analytics tomorrow, I will see traffic coming in to my site. Alright, that's it for today. I hope this video was clear. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. Again, I'm just fully aware that a 10 to 15 minute video will not solve every problem or every issue that you have with Google Tag Manager. I hope this was a good first step in the right direction. Again, if you're interested in an affordable, short online mini course about this topic, please let me know. I got this idea for this video this morning and I'm just wondering if this would be perhaps a good solution for you guys. Alright, have a great day. See you in the next video. Goodbye.